This man right here had the best lats of all time. And I'm going to show you today how we can use those dumbbell rows like he did to get the best lats that we can get in the shortest time possible.
Hi, this is John and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're talking about dumbbell rows, how to do them more effectively. Here's the story. Back in the day, for a couple of decades, 20 years, I was a trainer at Gold's Gym in Venice, California, at the famous Mecca of bodybuilding, Gold's Gym. And while I was there, I had the benefit of watching how the best bodybuilders in the world trained. And I also got to see some of the great things they did as well as some of the not so great things that they did. There was a direct correlation between those that had very poor back development, and sometimes I'd see they were just heaving big weights around and really not using the back muscles like they should. A great example of how it should be done, and I saw him come several times to Gold's Gym, Lee Haney, 8-time Mr. Olympia from the early 80s straight through the early 90s.
These pictures show Lee's long, full, and wide lats. And in this back double bicep, you can see if you study that he has possibly even better lats than Ronnie Coleman had. I didn't say better back double bicep, but better lats.
Possibly had the best back in the world for a solid 10, maybe 12 years. And during that time, when Lee was training at his peak, he had such beautiful, perfect form on his rows, specifically his dumbbell rows, that I couldn't help but notice. I watched this man, he was weighing 250 ripped pounds of muscle in shape, or about 260, 275 when he was out of shape in the off season. And Lee would go and do these rows, these dumbbell rows, never using more than moderate weights, a 75 to a 95 pound dumbbell. That's all I ever saw him use. But that form was perfect, rhythmic, and explosive. What do I mean by rhythmic? Rhythmic, from beginning to end, he kept a consistent speed to his movement. Only when he got tired near the end did that movement start to slow down, and there was no jerking, there was no twisting of his back as he rode the weight up. That back stayed parallel to the ground as he let the arm down and when he pulled it up. That's a key factor. You cannot pull the dumbbell up and rotate like this. If you do that, and you're rotating your torso away from staying parallel to the ground, then you will not be using those back muscles the way that you should. And he pulled them all alongside his abdomen, not up by his chest. So that was the second thing that I noticed that was really, really key. Now, the only big difference between the way that Lee did them and the way that I do them is that I like to not put my knee up on a bench. I put my hand on the bench for support just like he did, but I keep my knees off the bench. It's uncomfortable for me to keep my knee up on the bench. He did them with them on the bench. So depending on your height and your comfortability, you can try them both ways and see which way you like most. But I'll show you both of them right here.
Here's Lee doing his dumbbell rows on a bench, as I said. It's really pretty form. I just don't like the head being lifted up to look in the mirror. That part doesn't matter to me. And you'll see as I do these dumbbell rows on the bench, I keep my head neutral, my entire spine neutral for safety. So I'm looking down at the ground because that's where my spine and my head is best aligned. And then here you see how I'm doing them. This is the way I do them normally, from the floor with my feet wide and placed neutrally, and they act as shock absorbers as I lift and lower the weights rhythmically as well. And specifically, you can see that I'm using a 75-pound dumbbell right here. I'm about to pull it with my right arm, and you can see how my feet are set off like this. I have my right foot about half a foot length back from my left, and this makes it so that when I roll the dumbbell up, it won't hit my right thigh along the way. It'll be dropped back. So that's how I set my feet for the right arm for dumbbell rows. And of course, appropriately, I just reverse it the other way. for my left, just like that. And then I'm ready to do the dumbbell row on the left-hand side.
You can make your own choice on how you choose to do them. But the message here, the takeaway message here is, do what's best for you and your structure. Get the best feel in those muscles, those back muscles that you can get, and focus on using those back muscles, not on lifting and heaving the biggest weight possible. And possibly someday you'll have a back just like Lee Haney's. That's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart, thank you again for stopping by. Hey, before you go, please hit that red subscribe button down there on your bottom right. And then maybe before you leave, hit that thumbs up on your bottom left. I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you so much.